Wonder Woman 779, Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad writing with Travis Moore on art.
I'm glad this is over. I'm not going to be negative about the gate.
I think it had a couple of issues that were a bit weaker, but
yeah,
I enjoyed most of the Asgard arc. I enjoyed the one, it was like the fairy tale elves.
Well, they were on Alfheim. Like, that was one of the... And that's why I thought, oh, we're doing the Yggdrasil tree stuff. And then we started doing multiversal hopping. And this, I know you're going to like aspects of this because you do love mythology. And I will concede you love mythology more than I do. And I like mythology a lot. But just this whole Janice mess, I felt could have been seeded a little bit better throughout. And I almost feel like this just became a showcase to show off the multiverse, which wasn't like initially what it was, because we were in Asgard for a long time, right?
Yeah. For about half of this arc. Because this is still technically one arc.
Right. And then we start jumping around to, okay, well, we went to Alfheim and, almost kind of teasing that it's kind of becoming Svartalheim, which is the Dark Elf realm versus the Light Elf realm. And then we jump to Earth, 11, where they're swapped. So it's, Batwoman, Superwoman, where Wonder Woman's aspect has gotten corrupted, the Wonder Man, and he's kind of the patron saint of toxic masculinity. And so, I get all the storytelling, but it kind of got away from the mythological aspects here.
I think because the problem became here towards the end where they tagged us. So there's the two versions of Janus. You had the kind of the old man version, which was the past aspect,
right,
and the evil Wonder Woman looking one with the magic sword that was the future.
Right.
And now they're trying to tell us that the past was kind of behind all of it the whole time, and
because we should fear the future because we don't know what the future holds. Therefore, it doesn't have any power. Yet the past, we should always trust the past because the past is present. And I get that's what they were going for. It was handled super clumsily, and
it come out of nowhere as well.
Yeah, and like the stuff with Deadman and his whole realm. So they end up here in order to trap the future aspect of Janus. They trap Wonder Woman, Siegfried, Ratastock, and future Janus in basically a realm between realms, which is where Deadman was pulling Diana from. Every time she died, Valhalla.
Talking to the mysterious voice at the time that was Deadman.
And that you come to find out that the reason that they were able to trap Janus here, that even with the God Scraper, future Janus can't escape this realm because it's not a real realm. It's neither here nor there. Except that by the end, Deadman and Ratastock are like, oh no, just kidding. There's always a way. And I was like, well, you set up your internal logic.
I think
and they automatically broke it.
I don't know if I agree entirely. Because the logic is that it's not part of the multiverse. Because it's between worlds, which is why the sword has no impact. Because that's a sword that controls the multiverse. But he has his own different way in and out.
Well, it cuts into reality. So either this place is real or it's not real, right?
Yeah.
Right. And that's where the God Scraper has its power, is in it can cut through. It's so fine it can cut through reality. That's how Janus was cutting through the different aspects to connect the multiverse.
I'm okay with the idea, though, that this is not reality, yet there is still a different way out that the sword doesn't help them with.
Right, but that also goes against Deadman going, oh, well, no, I can always get out.
Yeah, he lies.
Like, well, yeah, but when you set it up as this place that's in between and you almost, I felt like this was cut too short because then we're going to get to the Janus stuff. That the stuff with the Deadman Live, like maybe we have to trap this future aspect here. And it all wrapped up too quick to make that land. Like if they had revealed that Deadman's like, well, no, of course I got a way out. Like,
I think
how do you think I traverse?
The simple way of doing this is if we'd seen Deadman in this place before, like in one of those earlier times when it revealed to us that it was him, if we'd followed him in and out one time instead of just sticking with Wonder Woman, so then we'd have known he was lying, that there is a way out because we've seen it. Assuming you remember, that's obviously on you as a reader. Right. But it would have set that up in the past. I think that would have been a smart way of doing it.
It's just clumsy storytelling. And it's not bad. Like I was joking earlier in the show about the Batgirls run, and if it ends like this, it's not technically it's not bad. Like it's fine. I just this was just an arc that went on for too long, and it didn't end in a satisfying way. Just because the way that it even wraps up, that you find out that the lasso that Wonder Woman's been carrying around is one of the threads of fate, which I thought cool twist on it, and that they have to reform Janice for whatever reason, and that the fates are all powerful and all knowing. So I do like that the fates and the Norns, they're all the same. It's kind of like Darkseid, how there's only one aspect of Darkseid. There's only one, the fates, and they're all shared by all the mythologies. And
I like how they all have their own names, but even like Zeus in here at one point is like, he should be real glad we're not the Roman pantheon, because they're way worse than us. But the fates, it's the same across both the Roman and the Norse, and the Greek pantheon. It's all these same three beings,
right? And yeah, so and then we also get that Ratastock, of course, because being a messenger god can go in between, and so Ratastock and Deadman were able to communicate with Hermes. Then Hermes was able to get the Greek pantheon from Olympus, and Diana has to basically, when she forges Janice back together, it's the fates are kind of like, well, this is your doing, you're responsible for this now, and she ends up. It's the other thing too, kind of going over everything that she has done in almost like a clip show kind of way. Like we see all the places that she's been as it goes, and I don't feel like there's a lot of ties to it to bring it back up in this way. It was almost like their send off of the arc, which I don't think it is though, right? Like they're not done with this book as of now.
Not done with this book, no. I think Wonder Woman's just returning to reality, to life, right?
Right. Which again also goes to Pete going like, well, so this is not going to be her thing going forward. I've read comics long enough. She'll be back, and I just kind of wish we had more fun along the way with the different, realm of the gods. Like I feel like we didn't even get to the realm of the gods that much through the story they chose to tell.
Yeah, no, I get that. I still say I mostly enjoyed it. It's only a couple of issues before this one that I wasn't as hot on, and then this one, I do agree. I like what it's doing. I do think it was a bit on the clumsy side overall.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed most of the point, and I enjoyed the direction it took.
Yeah. Also, there was a moment where Siegfried yells, "Not yet," and made me think that Siegfried had something to do with everything, because it's very sinister out of him. Did you get that too?
I don't remember getting that. Where is it in the book?
It was where right before the future aspect of Janice attacks. Let me pull it up. Granted, it's been a long week, so recall has not been a strong suit.
Yeah, it must be near the start of the book, right?
It was, yeah. So, says Janice, no, not yet. And then Siegfried, because she's gonna go. Who's she gonna kill? She goes to attack Deadman, and so he yells, "No, not yet," and stops her hand. And then the way that they're standing with her, like, he has stopped her. But no, it made it seem like he had something to do. It was just really weird storytelling here.
Okay, I can understand why that is needlessly ambiguous.
Yeah, so it's not just a no, don't. It's a not yet. Like, no, this is not part of the plan. So, and then the way that he's standing there with her is almost like he had something. I was like, oh no, heel turn for Siegfried and Ratastock, which I kind of felt again throughout. Ratastock had these little moments where you're kind of like, he's not trustworthy. And then nothing comes of any of these. So they're red herrings just for the sake of red herrings almost.
I think that one, especially the Ratos being like that, I'm okay with, because the whole point, the whole time was he's a messenger god. Messenger gods aren't trustworthy.
Right.
And that's just like part of the deal. And there is something in that he kind of knew about old Janice the whole time. And Janice's like, what, you didn't say anything? He's like, I had a hunch. I had no proof. So I didn't say anything. It's like, that's untrustworthy in itself, because it could have saved a lot of trouble.
Right.
But nothing more than that ever comes from it, I don't think. At least not yet.
No. And that's okay. Like, it's not like, I'm not that upset. but yeah, so you get to the end and you come to find out that Yggdrasil is now, you know, fully reforming, which we still didn't really get to the end of that. Like, what exactly was causing Yggdrasil to be sick?
No, we didn't really get that, I think.
Was it because of it's not tied to Janice. Like, that's the whole thing. The whole Janice aspect started to take over the story.
Came after, yeah.
Yeah. But that Ratatosk's telling the story to babies, none of which I don't think have horns on their head.
No.
Which was disappointing.
Maybe they grow the horns later.
Yeah. So but yeah, no, it was fine. I'm more interested in their Batgirls just because of the tone. Because when this book really hit like the stuff with in Valhalla and the Valkyries missing, and you know, Diana versus Thor and that whole banter back and forth.
There was a lot of good banter in that part of the book, which I think is a very good sign for the Batgirls book.
Yep.
And
it started with
see what
so
this does
much
next.
Yeah, it started with so much promise and it just kind of fizzled out. Is you know, kind of, I hope not indicative of this creative team.
It feels a little bit like they were told Wonder Woman can't come back too soon, so you need to just extend this out,
right?
like,
but
you know, another few months.
So then why go to Earth 11 and do that whole toxic masculinity story? Like, you just kind of did that with Dr. Psycho and Thor, and now you're doing it with this aspect of Wonder Man, which didn't seem to fit the story. Because why did that version get corrupted when our Diana went to, like, are there not any Wonder Woman, you know, equals across the multiverse now because she's gone? Like, it was just a weird story, so I wasn't big on that one. Because there is a story there of toxic masculinity versus Wonder Woman and what that means. It was just weird that was where they chose to showcase it. In the story where they're tracking down another evil aspect that looks like Diana, you know?
A lot of Wonder Womans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
definitely too long, but back to present day, I assume, next issue, or at least it'll be the path to the return, like, more directly than this was in a roundabout way.
Yeah. That said, I'm glad they took a chance with telling a different kind of Wonder Woman story, because at least it wasn't just the Greek gods and, you know, all of that stuff over again, or Wonder Woman versus Hera.
Yeah, this was definitely different.
So I give them style credit for that. I just wish that it was executed a little bit better. The art's been consistent across the board. There hasn't really been a bad art take on this book since they took over.
No, it's been pretty consistent as well. Travis Moore this issue has done probably the bulk of the issues so far.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the last handful where we were in different realms and different universes had different artists for those respectively, but they always made sense, and they were always good choices, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, what you rating it?
It's still like a 7 for me, this issue. Good but flawed.
Yeah, I'll go 7.5 just because, you know, my system, I can't line up with Connor.